Annyeong, it's Mikey here, and today I'm coming back to you guys with another Switch video. We have to thank Unikeys, of course, because they've been sending out so many Switches to me, and it's been amazing to be able to try all these different Switches on this channel. Now this, again, is a Wingtree Switch. This is going to be the 277. It's a custom Switch by WBJY, which I'm really curious what this is going to be like, because I've really loved the Wingtree so far. Mostly the tactiles have been great, but I really want to see like if there's any good linears that they're making. So let's get straight into seeing what the Switch is like and what the sound tests are going to be like and how I'll like them out of all the Switches, and of course put them in the spreadsheet. So please make sure to like and subscribe, and let's get straight into this. Now introducing to you the Wingtree 277 Linear. Now this is a custom Switch by WJBY, and this is going to have a more thicker copper leaf in the back, which eliminates leaf noise, and in general this is going to be a custom Switch. So let's hear the sound and see what this is like. So the switch kind of feels a little bit scratchy. So it has a little bit of scratch, has a little bit of the clack, has some marble, especially with foam. But let's hear it just on its own. Now, the thing I felt with the Switch was that it felt pretty decent in terms of the overall feel of typing on it, but in terms of certain plates, like for example the CF plate with the Neo 65 Core Plus, I just felt that there was some interesting scratch that I was getting. Now going with the travel, so we're starting off at 17.9, and then when we go all the way to the bottom, we're getting 14.3. So that's going to be a total of 3.6 millimeter travel. So we're getting anywhere between 3.5 to 3.6 millimeter travel in terms of the actual measurement. But so far we got the 3.6 millimeters of travel in total. Now opening up the Switch to really take a look and see inside. This is going to be a custom mold that was done, and honestly, I'm quite surprised that Wingtree did a custom one so quickly, especially when you consider them a new brand in terms of the market. Now, in terms of the stock lubing with the switches and the stem, so one thing I'm just going to be doing is getting this close to you guys for you to see. There's a decent amount of stock lubing on the sides. Now, it's not perfect. I wouldn't say that it's going to be even through all switches, but it's quite decently done. Now, do you have to lube these switches? Not really, but I think it's good to actually lube the springs specifically just because of the scratch that it provides. You know, when you have MX Blacks, that type of scratch is not the one that this gets. It's kind of a scratch that I'm saying that it's from the spring. So it's not your regular nice scratch that you'll get like with the HMX Sonyas or the MX28 Blacks. It's more of a spring scratch that isn't very pleasant. Now, in terms of the bottom housing, so one thing you'll notice with the bottom housing and the leaf, so this is supposed to be a little bit thicker and it's supposed to remove the actual leaf ping sound, but I didn't feel like it really did remove that much. I'm gonna be honest, it kind of felt like other mechanical switches that are kind of around the similar Marbly to like a little bit more bright switch sound. And they do have a little bit of lube on the leaf springs as well, so that is going to also help a little bit in terms of the smoothness. The spring itself is actually quite short. It's going to be 19 millimeters, so that's something that I wasn't a big fan of. I'm a personal fan of longer springs, for example 22 millimeters. That's kind of where my soft spot is. I would say 24 is probably my most favorite in terms of the actual spring length. This one was definitely on the shorter side and you could really feel it. Overall the travel is 3.6 millimeters, but it felt even shorter when you are typing on these, so that's my personal experience with these specific switches. Now in terms of the decibel test, just to see how loud they are, they're definitely not on the quiet side either in foam or foamless. It's coming around the 67 decibel. That's going to be the average loudness, which is going to be similar to, multiple people around you talking at the same time having a conversation. I would say these are definitely going to be on the louder side, so if you aren't someone who likes something loud, I wouldn't probably look at these ones. But if you do want to try something a little bit louder with Marble, this might be a decent one to look at. Though there's also other switches out there like the Guns N' Roses. Now, in terms of the actuation feel, so there is a actuation measurement for it. It's 42 grams. It is lighter than the whole bottom out force, so in general you will feel like it's kind of light, and when you're pressing it you don't really get much resistance and the switch just goes down right away. Now in terms of the stem wobble, we're going to see here at the top end, you don't really get any rattling on the top end, so that's something well done. I gotta admit that no wobble on the top end really does help because the rattle usually does affect the top out sound. Now in terms of the stem wobble itself, you can see that there is a lot of vertical stem wobble. Horizontal is not too bad, but when you have a keycap on there, you can see that it does move. So those that are sensitive to stem wobble probably aren't going to enjoy these too much in terms of that. Now the backlighting test. So in terms of the backlighting, the lighting is not too bad. It does have the diffuser on there, which is very nice. I think it does help with it. It keeps the light also quite accurate as well, so you're not getting too much of like a blue effect from the bottom housing of the switch. Now in terms of the actual spreadsheet, so I have it added here. We did some measurements. I would say it's close to the Guns N' Roses. It's a little bit brighter than the Guns N' Roses, so the Guns N' Roses switches I think come out a little bit more on the deeper marble or like actual medium marble sound, while these ones are a little bit on the brighter marble, which is why you can see that the anchor point is a little bit higher than the Guns N' Roses. Overall, I think these switches are decent. I'm not going to say that they're the best linears that I've tried in terms of Marbly, but they're definitely an interesting
take in terms of a custom mold.
Now the 277, honestly, I think it was a pretty decent switch. Overall, the Wingtree's linears are definitely not as great as some other linear switches out there, but the 277 actually had a quite nice sound to it as well as a nice feel. So this is definitely something that I actually enjoy. It's not too bad. I'm curious what they'll do next and see how they grow, because obviously they're coming out with so many different switches, and I'm going to be coming back to you guys again this week with another Wingtree set. So please make sure to like and subscribe. I'd love for you guys to join the Discord channel just to see what your guys' thoughts are and get your guys' opinion on different switches or different builds. And make sure you guys use my code Mikey to save 7% when you're searching or buying things on Unikeys. And I'll have to catch you guys next time, but please check out the other videos I got.